Why am I blue? Hi guys, my name is Angelica Borda. If you're new here, I like to tackle down DIY projects on a budget from the Dollar Tree. So if that's something that interests you, please subscribe below and give this a big thumbs up. Today is a very sad day if you're a big fan of Halloween, but these will be the last 3 Halloween DIY projects for 2020. But I do have a bunch of fall and Christmas DIYs coming up, so if that interests you and you would like to join this crafty clan, just make sure to subscribe below and join the family. So without further ado, let's get into these DIYs. For this project, I did grab this wooden tray from the Dollar Tree, as well as the Varathane wood stain in smoke gray from Home Depot. This was $6 or $7, but it was a really good deal because I barely used it for this DIY, and I know I'll be using it for other projects later on. This was the first time I ever used this stain, so I made sure to shake it very well and dipped in a paper towel into the stain, applied it to my wooden tray, and I wasn't happy with the pigmentation I was getting, so I grabbed a paintbrush and stirred that well, applied that, and it was really dark, so I quickly went in with my paper towel. This was simply a process of applying stain and then rubbing it in with the paper towel until you're content with the color of the stain that you have on your wooden piece. I do suggest that you use an old t-shirt to rub the stain in, because the paper towel was starting to disintegrate. On the inside, I wasn't too concerned because I knew I was going to be covering that with some scrapbook paper. So I got these 2 sheets of paper from Joann's for 50 cents. One had a bunch of cute little Halloween decals on it. I ended up going for the 31 with the spider hanging from it. So I grabbed my pattern sheet of paper and placed this into my tray and made sure to indent into the shape of the tray, if that makes sense. Then I grabbed my scissors and just cut that out because your girl doesn't like to measure. So I went back and placed that into my tray just to make sure it fit. So I grabbed my Halloween decal, and by accident I smudged some of that wood stain on it, but we wanted this to be a happy accident, so I smudged a little more on the sides and whatnot, and that's what it looked like once I fixed my smudge accident. So I grabbed a glue stick and glued on the 31 to that background piece that we had cut out. So I grabbed the Mod Podge in matte and a sponge brush and just applied that to the inside of my wooden tray. Then I grabbed my paper and just stuck that into the inside of the tray. Then I went to apply the Mod Podge with my sponge brush on the top of my paper, and that was just not working the way I wanted it to, so I grabbed my paintbrush and then just applied one thick layer of that Mod Podge onto the top of my paper. While that was drying, just peeled off in random spots the paper. Then I grabbed this lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree, just measured it against my 31. I just wanted it to be at the top and at the bottom, so that is what I did. I just set those on top and then grabbed my glue gun. Then I felt like this needed a little something else, so I grabbed some of that crepey cloth from the Dollar Tree, and once I was content with the positioning, I just glued it down with some glue gun. You can place this on a couple of stacked books on a bookshelf or on your mantle. I just thought it was really cute. So for this project, I grabbed a wax warmer from the Dollar Tree and just painted it with the Ultra Matte Rust-Oleum black paint and set that out to dry. Then I grabbed my sphere vase from the Dollar Tree as well and just removed the sticker as much as possible from the bottom. I grabbed a lighter and I wanted to darken up the inside of my sphere, so that's what I'm doing here with the flame. You get some of that black sud on the inside and kind of like a foggy feel to the whole vase, just so it looks like a spooky crystal ball. So I grabbed one of the packs of skull heads that I got from the Dollar Tree as well and this Omniflex fishing line that I got at Walmart. Just make sure it's clear because you don't want to make it evident that the skull head is actually hanging from something. You want it to look like it's floating. So I taped that onto my skull head and just went ahead and creased that fishing line a bit, so when it would hang directly down. So see how it hangs just straight down? That's what you want. So once that was hanging the way I wanted it to, I cut off the top, and see how it's very short? I applied a piece of tape as well, and that's how I taped it to the inside of my sphere vase. Once my wax warmer was nice and dry, I grabbed it and placed the sphere on the top of it to see how it's going to look, and then added a bit of hot glue and glued that onto my wax warmer. Once that was nice and secured on, I felt like it needed a bit more of a spooky factor, so I grabbed some creepy cloth and just placed that on top to see how it would look draped over it. So I just added that around the top of my wax warmer and glued it down with some hot glue. Then I cut the excess creepy cloth and just secured it down with more hot glue where I felt was needed. I did buy a pack of those black spider rings from the Dollar Tree, so I went ahead and cut off that ring portion. I glued one onto the actual crystal ball part and then one onto the wax warmer bottom base part of the crystal ball. So I still needed to fix the top since we did use a vase and it was flat, so I wanted to cover up that sticker portion as well. So I grabbed a bit of the creepy cloth and glued that onto the top. So once that creepy cloth was placed how I wanted it at the top, I felt like it still needed some spider web. So I grabbed some of that spider webs from the Dollar Tree and just played around with it. And that is it, guys. You have yourself a creepy crystal ball. This last project is probably the simplest one. I just googled bat silhouette and printed that out on a thick cardstock paper and cut that out. This is going to be the stencil for the bats that I'm going to be cutting out on my black poster board that I did pick up at the Dollar Tree. So once I trace all the bats that fit on my black poster board, I go ahead and play one of my favorite Halloween movies. While I cut these out, you have yourself some bats that you can just tape on your wall, lift up the wings a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 DIYs. Please comment down below which was your favorite. Don't forget to keep it crafty, everyone. Catch you on the next one. Bye!